So, you are looking for tips to improve your miniature building skills. If so, in this video I'm happy to share all my tricks that you can apply to your plastic Warhammer models. Let's start by inspecting the sprues. It's a great way to get to know each other a little better with the model and instructions. Now, it's time to cut the pieces from the sprue. I am using double-edged clippers with one flat side, and I kept that side facing the part I want to cut. This technique helps to achieve clean cut and prevent pulling any plastic from the part, which can leave holes behind. However, if your clippers struggle with this, don't worry, just cut a little higher than you need. You can easily clean up any leftover bits with a hobby knife. Just slice them off or gently scrape them away with the blade. You might also want to hold more fragile parts while cutting to prevent them from bending or shooting out in the air. Speaking of scraping, if you notice thin lines running across the surface of your model, those are called mould lines. These remnants from the manufacturing process occur where two halves of the mold meet. It's essential to remove these lines because leaving them can be considered a rookie mistake. I take my time to inspect each piece and clean as much as I can. With some music, this process can be actually relaxing. Of course, unless you have 20 more minis to go through in one evening. That said, some mold lines can be tricky to get rid of, so it's really up to you how far you want to go with this. Just keep in mind that these lines can become more noticeable after painting. You can use this cool trick for corrugated hoses, for example. After scraping off most of the mold lines, you can try to melt and smooth away the leftover using extra thin cement and brush applicator. Similarly, when dealing with rough surfaces after machining. Anytime you sand, scrape or drill into the plastic, there will be dust flakes or micro scratches on the surface. By painting this area with cement, you melt away the debris and smooth out the surface, leaving it nice and clean. Just remember, this technique works specifically with extra thin cements. The other types may deform the surface due to their stronger melting properties. Now that we have our cement ready, let's talk about actually gluing the parts together. One method is to apply glue directly between the two pieces. Alternatively, you can fit the pieces together first and then apply extra thin cement over the joint. Thanks to capillary action and its low surface tension, the glue will be sucked right into the gap. Squeeze parts together. If you have dry fitted them beforehand and addressed any fitting issues, you should achieve a seamless joint, or some melted plastic at the edges. Once it's cured, simply scrape or better yet, sand it flush using sanding sponges. These sponges are fantastic tools because they are soft and easily conform to the model's shape. For square edges, however, be sure to use harder files to achieve a crisp finish. In case you encounter any gaps, my two favorite solutions are Tamiya filling putty, which can even be thinned down with extra thin cement. It dries quickly, doesn't shrink, and can be sanded flush with the plastic. Another option is sprue glue, which is made by melting down sprue parts in plastic cement. You can use this glue to fill gaps, and once it's solidified, you can treat it just like plastic, which it is, after the solvent evaporates. Basing is a whole another topic with a wide range of techniques and products to choose from. Regardless of what you go for, it's important to use the right glues. For a quick bond, super glue is a popular choice. However, keep in mind that it can be brittle upon impact and might not hold well on smooth surfaces. If you are looking for something more durable, I recommend using two-part epoxy glue. It takes a good few minutes to hold and it reaches full cure in hours, but it creates strong bond that can absorb vibrations, making it less likely to break if you accidentally drop a mini. No matter which glue you choose, always make sure to rough up the surface with sandpaper. Creating scratches on the surface will also give the glue something to grab onto, which significantly improves adhesion. For added security, you can also drill holes and insert pins, which is especially effective for metal miniatures. It is possible to remove miniatures from epoxy bonds, but it can require some effort. When it comes to adding extra details like grass tufts, PVA glue works great. You can also use it with sand and gravel, or if you prefer, super glue can work with that too. If you are using plastic basing bits, plastic cement will secure the figure nicely as well. You can kit bash pieces from different sets, like here, where I plan to use Admecrest Stalker's Claws. I am using blue tack to temporarily hold the bits in place to see how they fit together. The only challenge is that I have the right hands, and I need the left one. By the way, if you plan to get these products for your model building sessions, follow the links in this video description. These are Amazon affiliate links, so you can support the channel by purchasing through them at no extra cost to you. And also check out my Patreon for extra content. Now that we've covered the basics and you are more comfortable working with plastic, it's time to make this mini unique, with conversions. I cut off the left Skitari hand because I saw a great opportunity to fit the whole forearm under his coat. To do this, I bored out the empty space with a drill and rotary tool. After removing the plastic debris, I used extra thin cement to smooth out the cavity. Once the hand was secured in place, it was time to focus on the fingers. They still looked out of place, so I cut 2 of them off and switched their positions. I used sprue glue to hold them securely in place, while also strengthening the joint. You can use the same technique if you need to repair delicate thin parts to restore them to their original strength. Finally, I used Tamiya putty to fill the gap in his hand after gluing it on in a different orientation than it was initially designed. You might be more familiar with similar product called green stuff, which may be more available to you. To finish the surface, I ran a wet finger across the putty to make it flush with the plastic bits. You can fill gaps between pads in the same manner, if you prefer this over the sprue glue and filling putty technique. I hope my tips and tricks help you on your miniature journey. As always, every like, share and comment is much appreciated. Thank you, and see you in the next one.